What's up, everyone? Today is the day. It is finally here, where I can let you know that the VST, the Grindstein VST, is a thing. This is what it can sound like in a full mix. This is a small example. You've heard this song before. This is the Rotting song that I created a couple of weeks ago with this VST plugin and another one of Audiority's classic gems, the 8100, the Solidus. This bad boy right here. Okay? Here we are. With this and this. Now, listen, this pedal is misunderstood a lot. This is not a gent pedal. This is not a pedal that's going to get you a super modern gentity gent chuggy gentity gent tone. This is all about character. This is all about 90s dirt. Okay? I see a lot of comments erroneously saying that this is just an HM2 but updated. This is not just an HM2 but updated. It is inspired by the HM2. And it has HM2 qualities with the upper level here in the mix knob. But it's far easier to use, much cleaner, much more high fidelity. Okay, now, let me show you what I did really quick with these guitars. So I have their quad tracks. So one pair of them is going through the Solidus here. And let's see, let's go to this part here in the end, and it sounds like this. On its own, sounds fine. Now, if we solo the Grindstein, we get an interesting result. We get something that sounds like this. And obviously, if we put it all together, full-bodied, chainsaw, unique guitar tone that, you know, it's not just your standard run-of-the-mill TV or Mesa Boogie into a V30 speaker, okay? There's some unique character here, some unique gnarliness that I really like. Let's talk more about the plugin here, because there's a lot going on. And plus, I'm using a sidechain feature here, or the effects loop, as it were, because one thing that with the actual plugin, you could run it through the effects loop with the sending returns back here and be able to basically color any amp's distortion already, as it were, with the top section here to add more chainsaw or more grinder, stuff like that. And they have made it a way to do that in the plugin where you can do the same thing. So you could effectively just have your favorite amp simulator and then do the same thing, run an effects loop, which I'll talk about. So the first thing to note is that, I keep showing this thing, I keep putting it down. This thing takes some getting used to in the real world to dial it in, to work with it, and to get all the controls that make sense, okay? Now, the plugin itself is just as detailed, but there are a couple extra quality of life improvements here. Notably, we have the gate, which is also from Klirrton. This is the Klirrton Grindstein. This is the Klirrton Schnauz. Sorry, I'm not German. Can read and speak Russian and English, can't read German. This is included. Obviously, you have the Grindstein. Now, this bad boy, the Fleisch, this is a big improvement because this allows you to dial the tone in even more before it goes to the cab, okay? And you can get things pretty tight sounding and pretty awesome sounding. Whereas with the with the pedal, I mean, you can get a great sound from the pedal, but then you got to go into post processing and you just got to do a couple more things. This is all included right within the platform and within the plugin itself. Super convenient, very nice. And then obviously we have the cab. Now these are based on the IRs that keep putting this thing down. That came with this. So you had IRs that Coda made that you would get in a folder and that you could load up. You could use your own IRs, obviously, but these are the same. I don't really know if they're exactly the same. I think they've been worked on or EQ'd a bit more. We'll talk a little bit about that later. And then obviously we have a ton of factory presets. Now the funny thing about this, when I was initially working on this, I sort of looked at this, because when I look at presets, usually it's very easy for me to spot, like, yeah, we need to make a preset for this sound and this sound so I can use it in the future. I looked through all these and I was like, yeah, nailed it. I can't even, unless I'm doing something specific for a project in the future, I really don't know if I'm going to be able to just create presets out of thin air, because they're all covered. They're all covered here of the presets that I would want to have, okay? So, I mean, the as confusing as the plugin may look, it's actually simple and it works very simply, which is the most important. Now, the one thing that we need to talk about is you'll notice that I have the effects loop enabled, which means I don't have the bottom shaker channel, i.e. I can't do anything with the bass type of thing. If I turn this off, then these knobs come back. But let's turn the effects loop on so I can show you what I'm doing. So if we go to my mixer, what I'm doing is I'm running a sidechain send in Cubase, which you can see from this button right here. I'm enabling the sidechain. And then my sidechain routing, I'm sending it to either of the guitar tracks here. And then basically, I'm putting the top portion of the Grindstein on top of the distortion of the other amp simulator. In effect, creating an effects loop where I'm putting the top end character on the distortion channel of the low end channel of the amp simulator that I'm using, or in real world it would be whatever amp. Okay, so this opens unlimited possibilities for amp blending, tone creation, tone crafting, just whatever. So you could take whatever your favorite amp simulator is in your cabinet, impulse response, whatever speaker that is, and you can add this Grindstein on it. You can automatically start creating unique sounds. All right. Just one thing that I want to point out here is when you do this, I would recommend that you create sounds that fit well together. So like I say, if I go back and solo the 8100, it's very bright, it's very sharp, it's very aggressive, right? I would say it's a bit scooped. It's very 90s, very classical 90s tone. And then if we solo the Grindstein, rounder, not as sharp, seems to be more full in the mid-range. And when we put them together, you get a full tone like that. So the way that this works is with the sidechain, you can do this one of two ways. I think I actually originally quad tracked this song, and then I was given the Grindstein, so I was like, oh, I gotta try this. But I think in the quote-unquote real world, maybe I did do it this way. Or not. No, I didn't. Let's say you have your two tracks. All you would need to do is duplicate the two tracks and then run the side chain. You don't actually have to record all of your tracks individually. So if you have just double track guitars, you can duplicate them and then do the side chain. The great thing about Audiority in general is they always have a sick manual that you can look at. Here's the manual right here, and it tells you everything you need to everything you need to know, specifically about the effects loop. Okay, how to do it, right? And then, by the way, it also details the exact cuts for the. So this flash here, the dozer cleansing scoop chainsaw, it details what exact frequencies those are, and how much leeway you have to work with. So yeah, manual is great. Audiority always does a great job. So read it, learn it, love it, ingest it, become one with it. RTFM, it's going to be good stuff. That's essentially the Grindstein in the context of a mix. Lots of options here, guys. Lots of options. I'm probably going to be using the Grindstein on everything I possibly can. I love this plugin. I love this pedal. Okay, just the pedal was a bit harder to use in real life. And actually, I got the Sono by and large so that I could do reamping with the pedal. So now I won't have to reamp. I can get what I want faster, and I'm loving it. So that's what it can sound like in a mix. Let's actually open up a different session where I kind of wanted to do more of an apples to apples comparison with the pedal and then the plugin. So let's go ahead and open that session. So here we are in the session. This is just a little bit of a ditty that I created. Again, I wanted to do the comparison apple to apples as best as I can. And one of the things I immediately found out is that the VST has been improved. It's not as harsh, and it's easier to work with. So let's just play a couple of these riffs. So what I'm doing here is I'm running the pedal through the Ignite Libra, which has the Blood Path IR. Another thing I am suspecting is that the IRs have been tweaked even more in post, because I have the Blood Path here, and they're not exactly the same. The Blood Path on the VST is a bit less harsh, a bit more rounded off to my ears. Maybe I'm crazy, but it just seems like the IRs have been tweaked, and I wouldn't say fixed, just modified a little bit to make it easier to use. Also, I want to mention that I'm not doing any gate or EQ or anything in this plugin. I'm trying to replicate, the plugin settings and the real life settings that it came up with on the pedal as best as I can. So basically, all the settings on the pedal are basically the same as in the VST here. And because obviously I don't have Fleisch or any of these other plugin chains, I'm not using it in the VST. So it's just a straight pedal into the Bloodbath IR. All right. Let's start with the pedal and see what it sounds like. You pretty much get the idea. It's very raw sounding, quite aggressive, has the HM2 qualities, right, but without the extra nastiness that comes with dealing with an HM2. Like I said, that's this pedal with these settings going into the Bloodpath IR, and nothing else is happening. I have no other processing on here, except for an L1, which is not doing much. So now let's switch over to the Grindstein VST. I'm going to do a quicker A/B comparison a little bit later, but I sort of would like to give each element its own spotlight. Okay, let's open up one of the VSTs now. One thing you'll notice, by the way, let me make this clear, is when you're working with the pedal, you're not going to get a DI file. That's what you're going to get. So once you have decided on a setting and a sound and you record it, that's it. That's what you get. Okay, so if some of you may not be used to that, that also might be a bit shocking to you at first. But here now I'm using the VST, so obviously I'm getting a DI track. Here we go. Okay, they both sound great, right? And the thing is that I'll never be able to get the settings perfect to do scientific A/B. But the point is that the pedal sounds amazing, the VST sounds amazing, and I believe that the differences in sound mostly come down to the fact of the engineering of the VST making the pedal easier to use. So what I'm going to do now is I just want to basically, perhaps let's go here. Cycle, and then I'll repeat this little section here, and then I'm just going to go back and forth between the Grindstein pedal and the VST, and make up your mind which one you like more. So what I'm going to do is both of the guitar parts are going to be playing together, and I'm just curious what the EQ looks like with the pedal and the VST. So I have them just on the rhythm guitars, and I have the Pro filter here. Fab Filter Pro Q3 is sidechained to show me the pedal rhythm guitars on this EQ instance of the VST. So just to be clear, the red is the pedal. That's very interesting. I'm not much of a technician. I'm not a technical IT person, but I would presume or hypothesize that the extra mid information that we're getting from the VST probably just has something to do with the nature of the VST cycling the frequency perfectly, whereas the pedal is an analog unit and it maybe moves a bit more. But you can see yourself, the frequencies are literally the same, pretty much the same. I think the major difference that we're getting is that the IRs have been tweaked a little bit, but the IRs sound awesome. And let's take this opportunity to listen to some of these IRs since I have the pedal here, and let's do that. So let's cut through some of these. So we'll start at Filth and Slime and work all the way to Bloodbath. Great. Remember, guys, as I said in the beginning of the video, this pedal's not about gent, 0000, edit. This is about character, adding unique flavor and dirt into your guitar tone. Okay, so the pedal does work completely on its own as a guitar tone. The amazing thing about this, even though it's HM2-ish inspired, you still have note clarity. You can still hear what you're actually playing, which is pretty impressive. I'm playing this on my 6-string BC Rich with EMG pickups on it, and it sounds fantastic. I really like it. Just for the sake of argument, let's see what we can do with this EQ with the rhythm guitars here on the VST. Yeah, I love it. So that's pretty much the Grindstein VST in a nutshell from Audiority, the brainchild of Klirrton Studios. They originally did the pedal here with Klirrton. I was an early adopter. This is actually the 7th pedal they ever made on the serial number. Now I'm very excited that probably a lot more of you guys are going to be able to get your hands on this thing. And would I recommend this? And who would I recommend this to? I would recommend this to anyone who's working with metal guitar tones that honestly wants to have a little bit more unique flavor in their sound. By using the effects loop and the sidechain feature, you can add just even a tiny little bit of grind or chainsaw or extra high-end presence to whatever guitar tone you're working on, and it'll be unique automatically. And I think in 2021, going into 2022 already, pretty soon, uniqueness and identity are going to be even more important, and even more important as we move on with the music industry, with technology being as it is, where things are just easier to do these days. Okay, yes, it's easier to do everything, but if there was any time where having a good song, writing good lyrics, and having unique sound was important and that argument was to be made, it would be now. If you're working on metal guitar tones and you want something unique, I think you need this plugin. I really think you do. Now I understand if you are like a gent person and that's all you do, 9-string guitar, double drop, maybe you're probably not going to go with the Grindstein. But if you are someone who is not tuning that low, but if you are someone who's looking for something new to play with, to add some extra character to your guitar tone, this is it. So I would feel totally comfortable recommending this. So I want to say a big thank you, first of all, to Klirrton for making this pedal. It's amazing. Second, to Luca from Audiority for giving me a beta version of the plugin and giving me a heads up so I could work with this plugin to make this video for you guys. Audiority are an amazing company. Luca is a good dude. I really enjoy using their products. I use them all the time. There's a link to the Grindstein in the description. I get nothing from it. Just go and buy it. Support Luca. This is an amazing plugin. You're gonna find a use for it. I mean, I'm sort of blathering on about this because I love this thing. I really enjoy it, and I think you guys will too. Okay, so that'll be the end of the video, guys. If you have any questions about the Grindstein, leave them down below, and I'll try to help you out. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Have a good one.